Hello? Is this thing on? I just had to like reset up everything because I just took my whole rig across the world. I took it to Europe. So I am back from my amazing trip to the Netherlands, and I just got all of my Sephora sale stuff in the mail while I was gone. So we're just gonna be doing the first impressions of some stuff that I bought, and we'll be going through the other things that I bought, even if they don't necessarily go on my face. You know, there's some stuff like that. And I should probably take some questions. Let's do that. I don't know. I'm gonna just open it up for questions, but I know what everybody's gonna ask. They're gonna be like, tell us about your trip. So I guess we can talk about the trip and we can also talk about the makeup. So I currently on my face am wearing all Bloom effects because I got to try everything from this brand. This is the brand that took me to Amsterdam. Actually, we were staying in Haarlem. Haarlem is a little, like a smaller, it's kind of like the Hoboken of Amsterdam or something. Either way, it's a little bit more open, but it was like just our speed, you know? It was just a really nice place to go on. There was still plenty happening. So I took my friend Hallie with me. We had never traveled together, but we've known each other for a really long time. And she is the ideal travel companion. We just had an absolute blast. Okay, the first thing I'm going to start with here is now, honestly, I feel like I blinked and it went viral, but like for very, very good reason. Because the first time that I tried it, I literally ran straight to my phone. I was like, I need to tell you all about this. This is super important. I want you to get it before it sells out or whatever, but it's the new Prisme Libre Skincare and Concealer from Givenchy. Not only is this absolutely beautiful, I place it right between Shape Tape from Tarte and the Kosas concealer. Not only that, it's enormous and it's more cost effective. Thank you, Claire, for crunching the numbers for me. It's more cost effective by quite a bit than the Kosas is. And it's amazing. You can use it, I mean, I guess you can use anything all over your face, but it works really well as both a concealer and a foundation or wherever you need it. So I have N95 and it is an epically good match. I have, again, the Bloom Effects, oh boy, the Tulip Dew drops, and then I have their new vitamin C, which is just so good. I've never been able to use something that's so squalane based, but it soaks in really beautifully, and also their sunscreen. That's what I have on right now. So yeah, this is $37. I picked this up, like I said, you know, a lot of times people think that influencers have their orders prioritized by Sephora, which I think is really funny, like as if they had any idea like who's ordering what. They're just trying to fulfill orders as fast as they can. But the real deal is that a lot of times influencers are having to place their orders before the sale even starts. And so that was the case with this. I did pick up some of this stuff before the sale even started. So I took a bunch of really good stuff with me too. I literally made like almost no decisions. I was like, yes, 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 yes. I just took like 3 bags of makeup. That was just my reality. But oh my God, it's so pretty. Look at it. Look at how that just blended in. I have been having some skin issues. I'm going back to my dermatologist, not my dermatologist, my esthetician this week. Next week. Today's Friday. I'm probably gonna get this up the same day that I film it, so it's gonna be one of those. And I'm hoping she can kind of like burn off some of this discoloration because the acne is more or less like subsiding. I just did my 2nd dose after being back on my biologic, so hopefully things really start to balance out, but I really need to get rid of the discoloration. It's just distracting to my eye, and things were just so good. It's not that like I think it's horrible to have discoloration on my skin, it's just that it all happened so fast. Everything was so perfect, and then it just wasn't because they skipped me on my biologic. I mean, come on. Kosas who, but also kind of Chanel who. Not to say that I'm not going to keep using my Chanel because it is just like an all over gorgeous like hydrating foundation situation, and it is still my dream foundation, but like this is so cost effective by comparison, and it's so beautiful. And the best thing about it to me is like the grip, because that means, and it feels like it's gonna wear all day and it creases so much less, especially under my eyes, than almost anything else I've ever tried. I really can't call to mind anything that is this resilient over the course of the day, especially underneath my eyes. So I'm actually just gonna like layer it up a little bit, put a little bit more on. Like that was like my concealer layer. No, my foundation layer. That was my concealer layer. Oh, what else? What else about the trip? We had some absolutely unbelievable food. Like if you're ever in Haarlem, go to Maita. It is a Japanese Peruvian fusion restaurant that we did not have a bad bite. We didn't have a bad bite the whole time we were in Amsterdam, let's be real, but like, it was just so good. Everything about it was fantastic. And then we went to this place for breakfast. It was like new in the area we were staying. We stayed at a hotel called Brass with 3 S's. And then we got kicked out. Not because we did anything wrong, but because we kind of screwed up the amount of days that we booked. And so we had to like rebook at another hotel on our last night. It was a mild headache, but like the people at Bloom Effect are so on top of things for like this tight crew that they are. They just do the most amazing job at like being accommodating and like taking care of everything. It was unbelievable. So either way, we went to this place for breakfast called Toast, and it ended up being so good. And like, I can eat all the carbs I want over there. To be honest, like I was just eating croissants every morning. I don't care. If you don't know, I'm pretty gluten intolerant, but like, whoops, I just kicked my camera. I'm pretty gluten intolerant, but like, not in Europe. We had just this really, really delicious breakfast on our first, you know, full day there. But the moment we walked in, we were greeted by this like white golden retriever named Hoos. And they said, like, what's his name? Like, Hoos. And we were like, Because just Dutch, your ear has to get trained for it, for like all the pronunciations. And so I just went over there and like turned his little tag around, G-U-U-S. So like goose or Gus. Like we ended up running into this dog again, like in the city, just like walking around. And we were like, Hoos? And she was like, how did you know my, you know, because we had met him through the other owner. And then this was, I guess, his wife or whatever. And then every time we saw a dog that even remotely resembled Hoos throughout the entire trip, we're like, Hoos? Is it Hoos? And we would be like stalking people like strangers' dogs. It was great. It was great. It was a great dog. He was so sweet. Okay, so, I mean, come on. I know we've already done this once, but like, come on right now with that. Plus, I have been getting so many fantastic reactions from y'all, which is truly the meaning of life for me. When I recommend a product, I'm still waiting with bated breath to see if when people decide to buy it, if they want to, like if it works for them. And there's just, the reactions have been so great. They're like, you're right, it doesn't crease. You're right, I can feel the grip. You're right, it's hydrating. Like it just is so beautiful. And Tom just messaged me and they just got theirs. They're getting theirs today in their Sephora order in the mail. And they're like, I need to know. I see everybody just like freaking out about it and I need to know. I'm like, they're so excited to get it. So I'm excited to hear their reaction because you saw Tom's reaction to the Chanel foundation when they tried it. So it's kind of a game changer. I really, really love it. So that's just like an absolute off the charts win. The next couple things, ooh, I'm so freaking excited about this. So we're gonna have to get through bronzer and contour and stuff real quick because I didn't buy anything like that. But I got 2 of the new Luminous Silk Glow Blushes from Armani. I have been, reloading their website like every day, being like, when are they coming out? Because they're just so pretty. And this is literally my first time opening them. Ooh, that's a good color. Yes, it is. That is 30. I don't know. They probably have names, but they're not on there. This one, does it say? Ooh, it's called Offbeat, I think. And then this one is called Euphoric. Yeah, if anything, I am worse. Like I came back such a worse version of myself from Europe. I'm in fuego, it's terrible. Oh, it's like this beautiful kind of like orgasm shifty pink. And this is just, if this disappoints me, I will eat my hat because these look fantastic, don't they? Okay, so let's take see if anybody's asked any questions that are specific while we do bronzer and contour. Oh, also y'all, I had a video go viral. I had a reel go viral. I did that video where I was, you know, talking about it being 2003, being like a little scene kid and like listening to the brand new Deja Entendu album for the first time, The Quiet Things That No One Ever Knows. And like, it's like at 1.8 million views right now. That's never happened to me. It's so exciting. Would love to hear about your trip. Was this your first long trip alone since you had Simon? Yes, actually, that's a really good thing to talk about. So I'm gonna just use my Patrick Ta contour bronzer because it's quick and it's effective. So the short answer, of course, is yes. And it's just come to him being an age where I feel like, you know, he's independent enough that he understands like I'm going and I'm coming back kind of thing. But there's definitely like an element of it where it's just kind of unknown, but also I want to get him, you know, used to the idea of me or his dad like doing our own thing sometimes, you know? Mike does, he's always kind of had to travel for work here and there, but this is the first time that I've ever been away for more than a night, because I'll go into the city, you know, to see my friends and stuff, but I'll only ever be gone for a night. And so this was 5 days, and y'all, I got home yesterday and I took a shower and everything, so Mike went and picked him up. And so he goes and picks him up and he like opens the door and I see him through like the slit in the car door, and Mike goes, "Who's that?" And you just see Simon go, "Mommy." And it was like not even like overwhelmed or like anything. He was just like, "Mommy." And then like he gets out of the car and he's got some sock puppet that he made, and he has this terrible, I mean, just absolutely 100% of the time habit of if he makes art at school and then they give it to him, he destroys it. Like he just rips it back apart. I don't know why. If someone's some kind of like, you know, child development psychologist or something, let me know. But yeah, I mean, as soon as he's out of the car, I'm like, "Can I have a hug?" And he said yes, but that meant I hug him. He's not hugging me back. He's way more worried about losing a googly eye in the car. Oh, this sock. So it was kind of nice. I was like, all right, cool. Like we just like went inside and ate dinner and watched Toy Story, and like he's on Toy Story 3 now. And I swear he got taller and cuter while I was gone. He's already so freaking tall. And I'm just so proud of him because he was so mature about it. And Mike had a really great time with him. Like Mike he was so easy. And I was like, isn't it kind of easier when it's just one person making the decisions? I know, like, yes, it's always helpful to have another pair of hands around, because it's like, "Hey, could you hand me that? There's a child on my lap." Just like the logistics of like the, you know, physically being one place and not being able to be in another. But when it comes to actual just like communication with a child and like helping them do what they need to do and getting everything done, like, I don't know, maybe it's not every kid, but Simon is just so much more able to kind of like be present and understand what's going on when there's only like one person who's like helping him and like making those decisions. Like he's just more agreeable. And I do feel like even in some of our like rituals where we are both here, Mike reads some stories at night and puts him to bed. But if I'm there, he's totally different. He just kind of bounces off the walls and he doesn't want to go to bed and stuff because he sees it as kind of an exception, I think, to the routine. And so I think that there's like something to be said for him being able to, you know, not be in almost like only child entertainment mode, because that's kind of something that's, you work on it, but it's hard to avoid, right? When they're an only child, you're like, of course we want to pay attention to you, but at the same time it backfires in a sense, because the kid feels like, since you're paying so much attention to them, like, you know, when you're trying to get them to eat or whatever, that they almost like need to do something to like entertain you. Like they're on the spot, they're on. And there's something about it being just one-on-one where he doesn't have that pressure. So I don't know. I think that obviously it's all a balance, but like I was just very pleased that honestly, like he seemed to have absolutely no anxiety about the fact that I had been gone, which is good because we got more trips coming up. And it felt so good to travel. Y'all, let me go ahead and do my bronzer real quick. I'm just gonna do a little bit because I want y'all to still be able to see the blush, but like we're going cream powder, and I just think that like a little bit of powder first is gonna help with the blushes going on more evenly. But timeline here, you know, I got pregnant freaking, what, February? Found out I was pregnant. I don't remember. I think I found out I was pregnant like February 2020. And everything just shut down so soon after that, I mean, I'm sure, obviously, you know, a lot of y'all know because you did it too, kind of thing. I talked to a ton of y'all that were pregnant at the same time, you know, Erin and Rachel, and I mean, just a lot of people that I knew, that Shelby, they were all pregnant around that same time. But like, it was weird. And especially if it's your first kid, it was just weird to have to completely isolate yourself, not only while you were pregnant, but also after the baby came, in a way that was like for safety, you know, when really what you want is to go and feel still like a real person while you're pregnant. And when you have a baby, you want to go and like interact with the world because it's already so isolating. And it was just incredibly isolating. So I like forgot how nice it can be to travel, because truth be told, I've never been a particularly eager traveler. My parents were divorced when I was 11, and I lived out of a suitcase basically for, you know, the rest of my time living at home for various reasons. Like that wasn't the only bad part, but like there were plenty of bad parts and that was one of them. And I think that like my Mars being in Taurus has always made me seek stability. And I'll never forget moving into my first house, well, my only house, when I was in college, and just being able to unpack, and that was it. You know, and like that I could just live there, and like that feeling of just like, wait, I don't feel transient anymore, and how nice that was. And so I've always kind of had this weird negative association with like packing and leaving everything that I know. And this was like the first time that I really picked up and went somewhere, because I've been to Amsterdam so many times. I lived there when I, you know, studied abroad. I went back again when I turned 30. And so it was almost like this really positive, like, bridge between my anxiety and getting out of my anxiety, essentially, to go someplace that, even though yes, it's definitely like, you know, an unfamiliar place because it's all the way in Europe, it's still more familiar to me than had I gone to, you know, someplace completely new. And I can't even tell y'all like the synchronicities, just the things that I could never have planned for, that are just I mean, I can't even remember them all. Do you know what I mean? It was just so, it was so cool. And just the way that, like, you know how things, it was like when I first moved to Austin, life just came up and like cradled me. It was like, this is where you're supposed to be. And I've been other places where that wasn't the case. And it's like, you kind of feel that energy, that like tailwind from the universe being like, you're doing the right thing. And that's how this whole trip felt. And it just made me it made me so excited to keep traveling. And I'm actually really excited that, like, again, it wasn't a huge deal for Simon, because he, you know, I am going to be traveling a little bit more, and it makes me excited to, like, when he gets older, even, you know, travel with him and stuff. But like being away from him isn't that big of a deal to him, which is cool. Okay, so, ooh, I have to touch this embossing and swatch it. This is the first time I think I've ever interacted with a product and felt like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna ruin it when I touch it, but oh, the embossing it's pretty sturdy. It's gonna be okay. All right, ooh. So there they are on my finger. Y'all, I just get excited about blush, okay? And those are excellent. Those are pretty. They are so blurring and smooth. Ooh, ooh. Do y'all watch Yuri? I mean, a lot of people watch her. Obviously, she has 1.6 million followers on Instagram, but Yuri Lamasbella. She does the most hilarious, dead on, but also really like the costuming is just really janky, impressions of all the Kardashians. It's so funny. And like, I find myself, I had to make Hallie like binge them. I mean, there's not much force that happened there, but you know, so that she would understand all of my references, because I find myself doing like the Khloe Kardashian, not the bananas, like a lot, not Mr. Bite. And then she does this one little inflection of Kylie's where she goes, ooh. I find myself doing it all the time, and it's so dumb. It's so dorky. Okay. So we're gonna start with the 50, which was called Euphoric. And this one's gonna be a little bit shimmery shiny. Oh my word. That's from swatching, I think. I kind of picked a ton of product up, so let's see. Hopefully they go on pretty sheerly. Ooh. Ooh. My voice is gone. Not only have I been talking for days and traveling and like not sleeping properly, but also I, you know, had to drive to and from JFK. So I'm in New Jersey and JFK is obviously on Long Island. And so it was like, you know, a 2-hour drive to get there. And so what did I do? I just listened to all the best things and sang along to them at the top of my lungs. Oh my God. Oh my God, that is so pretty. It's giving luminous and it's giving silk, okay? That's so much better than any NARS orgasm application I've ever gotten. It's a very pretty color from NARS, but like, it has never just been like that easy going on. This kind of reminds me of if Pat McGrath tried to do NARS. Do you know what I mean? It's giving like a lot more pigment than that. Oh, look at that sheen though. Normally I'm not here for like a luminous blush, but I like that a lot. And then we're gonna go with this one because that is just straight to my soul right there. Like, Tom, we're gonna have to have another, like, you know, DM swatch party to see how this compares. Actually, we'll just do it here. We'll just do it here. I'm gonna swatch these against all like my other peachy blushes that I like, because Tom and I were very surprised actually at how like Peau de Pêche from Surratt is actually like pretty orange, and then the rest of them are so pink by comparison. Ugh, come on. Okay, like I tried the Luminous Silk Concealer recently, not a fan, but this is a home run. Oh, come on. Come on, blush. That's worth the wait. I would have been, y'all, this is another one of them where it was like the wait plus the expectations so sky high. I could have been extremely disappointed, like proportionately disappointed to my expectations, but I am proportionately impressed to my expectations. Wow, that's pretty. Okay, so another home run. Those are amazing. I have no idea if they've like sold out by now. I literally bought them the moment they went live, so. I also have the new Byredo palette coming. Yay! I'm so excited about it. Not that many people were excited about it, but do I care? Nope. It's one of those purchases that would have been for me, you know? Like we all have our like, oh, I'm gonna review this and I'm gonna buy it for science for the people. And then it's like, there are some purchases where you're like, I want that. I want that palette, okay? Okie dokie. I do not know where Rattly Natalie has run her little self off to, but I'm going to use my Hourglass brush here. They actually sent me 2 of these, so I've been making use of them. So I'm just going to use, this is what I've been doing lately, using this Victoria Beckham bronzer, the matte bronzing brick in 01, and I'm using the, I guess the bronzer color, not the contour color. I don't know. Either way, the way that this goes underneath my eyes and like bridges that glaring gap between my blush and my concealer. Huge, huge. See, just makes all the difference. It's kind of like I'm almost tempted to like get carried away with it because it's very, very effective. I also got a box of 20 lipsticks from Make Beauty. While I was gone, I opened it up. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a harrowing swatch video. Now we haven't properly powdered yet. That was just like bronzer and whatnot, because I do also have the new Laura Mercier. This is the Translucent Real Flawless Luminous Perfecting Pressed Powder. Hopefully it's a little easier to shade match with this than it was with the foundation, because while I really enjoy that foundation, oh, that's right. We're gonna have to do it in another one, but I actually ordered this. It could have totally ruined. I'm not gonna do a first impression on this. This is something that I'm gonna need to work with before I share it with y'all, because I'm still not sure how it's gonna go, but I ordered another shade in the Terracotta Le Temps from Guerlain, so we'll be giving that a shot at some point too. But I think in my heart of hearts wanted Givenchy to be the star today, and I just wanted something that looked cute when I was done, not like experimental. So, ooh, even though it's translucent, it's a little bit like yellow, a little bit blonde. So I'm gonna grab a little bit of that, see how it goes on my eyes. Oh yeah, we've got blur, we've got brightening, we've got coverage. I kind of need to break this brush in. But like all I'm looking for in a powder, we talk about this all the time, is like a little bit of like a change of texture. I'm not looking for a ton of coverage. I just want my skin to not reflect light in those areas, and I don't need a lot of like oil control. It's kind of wild how I was so jet lagged going there, and then now I'm fine. I slept through the night last night. I took a ZQuil and like passed out, and now I'm fine. Although we'll see how the day goes. I am not fine. Okay, I wish that I could properly convey the amount of like delicious blur that's happening on my skin right now. I actually made it through most of season 15 of Drag Race while I was gone, and like some of it didn't download because I didn't have enough room on my iPad, so I haven't seen all of it yet, but I know I know what the outcome is. It's very difficult to avoid finding those things out when you follow as many drag queens as I do on Instagram. It was actually my friend Matt Horchata that was like, congratulations on their account, and I was like, crap. Oh well. All that to say, Mistress, the smooth, like incredible gradient that he is able to achieve in his makeup is just like, oh my God. It gave me all sorts of new goals. I was like, oh, oh, I want that level of like brightened cheek. It was just, mistress can paint. All right, so this is not something I bought, although I did buy the other shade of it. I bought Bronze Brocade, but Kulfi reached out pretty much right in line time-wise with a Sephora sale and asked if they could send me some stuff, and they just sent me 2 little thingies here. So I have Sitara Sparkles and Zari Eyes, so we'll use this. It's like a really pretty pink, gorgeous. And I also got this Cheeky Chiku. It's called the Kajal Eyeliner Crayon, and it is in the shade Cheeky Chiku. It's brown. So we'll just start by smacking this all over and then see how I want to, you know, have supporting actors on it. So this is quite pink. It's very cute. It's very sweet, isn't it? So we'll have to see how we want to support this, but this whole look is looking very cute and pink, isn't it? I mean, y'all know we're gonna end up with a nice wing on and it's gonna still be sexy. Little good girl though for right now. Gonna go under. So yeah, if y'all haven't heard my spiel on these, the Zari Eyes are really interesting because they're like jelly. They have this nice kind of squish to them, and the squish reminds me very much of the squishy shadow that I got kind of in error in my Makeup by Mario palette, but it's like they just embraced it, and they're really, really long wearing. They're super, super pretty. I do feel like I'm gonna want to pull some of the blush, the Apricot blush in, because it's gonna, like this right now is looking quite cool toned compared to my cheeks, because I think that this eyeshadow is actually more similar to the first blush that I put on. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's use both of those blushes as my eyeshadows and see where that gets us, and then we'll probably go in with like the Surratt quad or something to deepen it up. So yeah, I'm gonna use this one. I'm gonna use the Singe Beauty E03 for this. I just had a vibe in mind, didn't I? Oh, I need to find my tweezers though. Look at my eyebrows. Oh my goodness. There's so much stuff in so many little bags. So when we got kind of accidentally kicked out of our hotel room, I guess you could call her the assistant. She's also in product development, but one of the people on the Bloom Effects team, her name is Georgie, and she's actually just absolutely the most lovely person. She had to go to, because we were in Amsterdam and this was in Harlem, and they were calling, trying to get us out of the room apparently, even though we thought we'd paid for it. She went and packed all our stuff up, and so it was this really funny time getting to the new hotel where they had all our bags and everything was already done, but like Hallie and I had to like open up our suitcases and be like, this is yours, this is yours, this is yours, this is yours, and basically like unpack and repack everything. And I still didn't end up with the proper screw that screws the mount underneath my camera to the tripod. And I did end up accidentally stealing Bloom Effects one that holds the phone. And so I have it jury-rigged. I mean, it is very, very precarious right now, but it'll do. It'll do in the meantime. Oh, look at that. Look at how that blush went so nicely with that eyeshadow. It's just one whole vibe. Maybe I'll pull out the Hindash palette. That's gonna be probably the best plan for this, to get like native looking colors that enhance this. And then I'm gonna grab the other one and I'll put it on and then we'll swatch it. So using some Apricot. I also started watching, I've never seen it before y'all, but I started watching Call Me By Your Name on the airplane. And the word apricot just means something different now. Although I know that like somebody said that movie's problematic. Is it because of Armie Hammer being like a twisted person? Because if that's the case, I don't feel so bad, because honestly, like what can any of us do? What can any of us do about that? But if there's something else that's problematic about it, I don't know, and I need to Google. So this is going a little bit like backwards, because typically I would use like a cool tone in the crease and I would use something a little warmer on the lid. So I'm gonna move this onto the lid just a little, but it's gonna be, I mean, we're going a little eccentric here, not crazy, but like, we're not necessarily going for just a pure illusion. I'm a-okay with it just, you know, being about the color right now. So let's swatch that against some of the things that like Tom and I, we went through a whole like swatch fest the other day because they were trying to decide, you know, what to buy in the sale. And they were like, okay, well, I love orange blushes. Can you swatch some of your orange blushes? And I just got carried away. Wow. There are so many more than I realized. Let's see if I can remember everything I just swatched here. So this is the new one. This is the Armani one. And then this is the Charlotte Tilbury Blush Wand in Pillow Talk Peach Pop. So those are probably the most similar, and then this one down here. So this is Dior Rosy Glow, Dior Backstage Rosy Glow in 04 Coral. This is the House Labs Pomelo Peach, which is quite pink by comparison. Here we have the Surratt, again, this is like the most orange one, the Surratt Peau de Pêche, and then the one that I just swatched there is actually Too Faced Tequila Sunset. And yes, I have more peach things in my collection, but I would say it is actually like the most similar to the most orange one, which is Peau de Pêche from Surratt. So good news for you, Tom, or maybe bad news for your wallet. And the one that sticks around is always that Charlotte Tilbury. Okay, so we could go Beautopsy, but I think that that's just going to keep us very firmly in like the pink territory. Or we can go, yeah, I think we're gonna go into Monochromance here. And the match made in heaven are Angie's brushes and the Hindash palettes. Like, oh my God, they go together so beautifully. So I'm gonna go with some brown here, just a match made. And just work that into the outer corner. Y'all, I filmed a whole get ready with me in the tulip fields, and it was so chaotic. It was so funny because like Kim was ducking in and out. Kim is the owner of Bloom Effects, and Hallie was just like, I'm telling you, living her best. She's like, I walk around my neighborhood and I get excited to pick a flower. She's like, I am overwhelmed with joy right now. She's just surrounded by tulips as far as the eye can see. She was just, I mean, I did not see her the entire day that we were on the tulip fields without just the most ridiculous grin on her face. She couldn't handle it. It was so freaking cute. So obviously I brought the best person I could have for that. But yeah, I'm kind of like excited and also kind of nervous to see how that footage turned out, because like it was in natural light, and so I think it looked good, but I also couldn't really see what the heck I was doing. So we'll see. All right, I'm going into Heartthrob. I could have just like mixed them together on the brush, but this is gonna give us a nice matte effect that'll kind of pull it together. This is definitely getting pretty bright. But that's why I say use Angie's brushes with the Hindash palette. It just is a total game changer as far as how much product it picks up and how quickly it blends it. And you can always pull it back on the rails with his. You can always go into like the lighter shades and pull the light back in, and they just blur. They're like the most blurring shadows I've ever used. See if we have any more questions. I mean, yeah, I was right. Everybody wants to talk about the trip, which good, because that's what we've been doing. Life in Amsterdam compared to the US. Ooh, this was actually pretty fun. Like, because you can't help but like when you're around people, you know, for a long time in another country who are, you know, from there or spend a lot of time there, you start talking about the differences in just the way that you talk about stuff. Like, the first thing was so funny. We were just like, everybody says that they're gonna go to the toilet. And I'm like, we would never say that. In the US, we would never say go to the toilet. Like, excuse me? No. And like, we're all in the car talking about this and we're just like, no, what are you gonna do with the toilet? Ew, no, don't tell me you're gonna use the toilet. I'm gonna go to the toilet. No. No. Let's do some eyeliner. I'm gonna use my Surratt because that's just what I love right now. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do my Smoky Eye Baton in Fumé Brun. And the other thing, and if you watch Ted Lasso, like you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, is that like the Dutch are very blunt. And so, you know, talking to Hein, who's Kim's husband, who is, you know, the generational co-owner of the tulip fields, he's like, meetings are so productive. You know, you just get stuff done because everybody's just like really straightforward and no BS. But it also is, you know, obviously everything has its perks and its pitfalls, but yeah, in terms of productivity. And the other thing that I found to be really interesting, because I got in some conversations with people about, you know, just like their impressions of Americans and stuff. And I talked at length with a guy on my airplane where we were talking about like the differences in like what's important in in queer culture. And I was like, you know, I ride pretty hard for like the queer community in the US. And he was like, you know, I have absolutely no objection to the way anybody lives their life, but I don't understand why y'all make such a big deal out of it in the US. And like, sure, I disagree. And I think that it needs to be made a big deal out of because it's obviously like very important, and like, you know, we're battling erasure. We're battling like dangerous things. But what I found so compelling about the conversation was that no one ever raised their voice. No one ever like automatically categorized the other person as like, I disagree with you, therefore we can't speak to each other again. There was never anything like that. There was never any insulting. There was never shutting anybody down. And it was just this very nuanced conversation where like no one lost their cool. And I was like, this is not something that would happen in the US. Like if you disagreed with somebody about like queer culture, you could pretty much guarantee that they're like on the other end of the spectrum from what, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's just a conversation that you don't want to have. Because you know you're never going to be able to kind of like reach them in an open-minded place. You're never going to be able to come to any kind of compromise. And like, you're not going to hear each other. You're just going to talk right past each other. And it was just actually so enlightening to like disagree with someone, but for them to just be like willing to continue the conversation. It's just like, did it used to be like that and we just forgot? But like, yeah, it was very refreshing. Cause like, I do think, not that that's a topic that's up for debate as far as I'm concerned, but I do think that like friends can stay friends even if they disagree on things. I think that that's a very mature approach to things. And I think a lot of times that's what kind of gets lost on the internet is like, as I understand the nature of a parasocial relationship, like I don't think that that's something that's like taboo or like, you know, creepy or something, because I have them too. And there's definitely something to be said for that feeling where you think you've related to someone wholeheartedly and then they do something that kind of like is disparate to that. Like it just kind of disagrees with your previous perception of them and like how people kind of tend to handle that. It's like, can you take it on board and understand that like, you know, different people value different things and like, and still have that kind of like nuanced relationship, parasocial relationship with that person? Or does it mean that like you no longer align with their values? And I guess it matters what the values are. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was just really interesting to talk to so many people about things that like, I will say like the viewpoints differ because they're not American and like they're seeing it from just like a different perspective and the way that it looks from the outside in a lot of ways, but also just the way that like everyone was able to kind of like be really civil about disagreeing with each other. It was awesome. And I'm not even talking, I was talking about more about people that I like met along the way, not like the people at Bloom Effects. I don't want to get it twisted. It was only the absolute freaking best when we were with them. Holy crap. And Kim is Australian, so it's like another totally different perspective, because she's like, okay, so we call it like cutting the tall poppies, I think is what she called it. So the way that like in the US, because she worked and lived in New York for a long time before she you know, got married and moved back to the Netherlands, but the way that Australia in general kind of wants to make everybody more equal, and so you don't end up with kind of the billionaire class and things like that. It has its silver linings, but at the same time, there's not as much motivation to go out and like make a name for yourself, because people are kind of always going to treat you like you need to assimilate to the median, essentially. Whereas in the US, it's like, it very encouraged to be individualistic. And it's just really cool to hear people's perspective on that, because it's not necessarily like one is good and one is bad. Obviously, like we still have not figured out the right way to do society, have we? It's all just one big experiment, but it was just really, really cool to like hear those perspectives, especially from people who like, you know, grew up in different societies. So I'm putting a little bit more of that like apricot-y blush on. I was just like, where is it? It needs to be on my nose more. And we shall zoom through my eyebrows and my mascara real quick. I'm just gonna use my Make Beauty on my eyebrows and my Thrive mascara. Rattly Natalie out because I think she's gonna do a better job with the powder. I feel like my blush got a little bit low. So I'm gonna see if we can achieve, yeah, just a little bit of coverage using the Mercier. I really like that powder. It's so pretty, especially because we're working with a slightly luminous blush. At least the first one that I put on was slightly luminous. And so it's nice to be able to kind of have something that controls the finish, but isn't disrupting anything else. Speaking of that blush, let's put on some more of it. I've been really loving the older blush brush. Sorry, it's the newer blush brush, but it's been around for a long time, from Thrive, as just like that little kiss. It's like the right size. It's just slightly bigger than Rattly Natalie, you know? Oh, these blushes are a home run. I like them so much. We're ending up with a little bit of pink face, so I think I'm gonna go in with some powder contour to just balance it back out. But let's use some clear brow gel real quick. I'm not gonna show you the tube because it's the Kosas, but like the tube is just, bleh. Looks so nasty. Excellent. There we go. So the other thing that I got, and this is because I watched Kyla Fish talk about the stuff she was planning on buying for the sale, and someone was like, don't buy the Glossier lip balm, try the Gisou one. And I was like, you might not have been talking to me, but I'll still take the note nonetheless because this is so cute. Look at this. And she said that she wasn't going to because they raised the price by like 10 Canadian dollars, and you know, Kyla's in Canada, and she was like, absolutely not. Apparently this stuff is really, really nice. No smell, just smells like oil. Ew. We'll see what I think, because like if it smells like oil, does that mean it tastes like oil? Definitely gonna be needing a good nourishing lip oil after this crazy swatching video I'm probably about to do. And then I have my powder contour, like I said, that'll be the last step. So I use the one from VB here, the deeper one. If y'all ever want to learn how to contour, like the way that I learned how to contour, I will, if I remember, and if I don't, please remind me. I just watched one of Kiki's Why Come No One Told Me That videos. She did a series, and you know, I guess she still does. It's called Why Come No One Told Me That, and it's just basically like lessons straight from an expert makeup artist. So it's kind of easy to forget sometimes. It's like, you know, Kiki is this really great brand owner, but like the reason that she has the, I don't know, the impact and the influence that she does is because she's an extraordinarily good and gifted and experienced makeup artist. So I think very highly of her advice. So yeah, we have some pink face going on, but like it's kind of like pink face like we meant to, you know? So I'm going to share with you all the rest of the stuff that I got. There's not that much. There's not that much. I didn't go crazy. Like I said, I got like, you know, re-ups on like my shampoo and stuff from, you know, Drunk Elephant. I got the birthday gift because my birthday was on April 4th. This was actually like a pretty easy decision for me because I was like, all the other ones I was like, meh. And you know, Nest fragrance, yes. So I got this little cutie Wild Mint Eucalyptus candle, which I do love the Wild Mint Eucalyptus. It is a little much. Like by the time it's done, you're like, I don't need any more of that. But at the same time, like this is very small and I will enjoy it. Then we have Madagascar Vanilla, little teeny tine. I will take any vanilla that you give me. It's just so nice. And then, ooh, Wild Poppy. I don't know what this is. I've never had, I mean, I obviously know what it is, but, ooh, oh my God. I love that. It's so sweet and bright and lovely. And also has some kind of like nostalgic quality to it. Oh my God, that's delightful. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Okay, so there's that. And then the other thing I actually bought is this. I did get the little baby replica Lazy Sunday Morning. So let's open her up. Obviously not gonna wear both at the same time. That would be chaotic even for me, and I am sensitive to smells. Oh my God, y'all, Wild Poppy, oh my God. I wanna cuddle with myself. That is so nice. It's so perfectly just like sweet. Goes with this look. It goes with this look so well because this is just like a sweet look. Oh, I love it. Very, very good girl vibes. Oh, their packaging is so pretty. Look at that. Yeah. Yep, so I went ahead and did that for myself. I think it was a pretty healthy haul for me this time. I didn't go absolutely insane, but I did also spend a lot of money elsewhere at the time. Like I said, I bought the Byredo palette. I think I picked up a couple other things. Either way, y'all, I just want to tell you how good I feel, and I hope it translates through the camera. I hope some of it rubs off on y'all. Like, my friend Leslie told me, she's like, you're gonna come back different from this trip. And I was like, what does that mean? She's like, I don't know yet. You're just gonna come back different. I ended up FaceTiming her from dinner at an Italian restaurant, which was hilarious. It was just like that annoying person. But either way, I am different, and I am in my me era. Like, I am in my just focus on me. I am the star of my own life, investing in myself era. And I was actually looking at Sierra. I don't know if y'all follow Sierra Taylor, but she's lovely, and she has like the most beautiful skin. But she posted a reel with the I'm a lucky girl, all good things come to me. Like, Tom has got me on the lucky girl energy, and Aries can manifest faster than anybody else, and it's been a lot of that. And the eclipse just happened. Anybody feeling that eclipse energy? Because oh my god. Oh my god, my life is feeling the eclipse energy. But yeah, Sierra, her caption, she says, I've been really leaning into myself lately, especially stylistically, and it feels so good. As cheesy as it sounds, there's only one you, so act accordingly. And I commented, I was like, I'm in my me era. Like, that's what, I don't know, like every time I start thinking about like, oh, am I gonna, you know, getting anxious about this, or am I gonna compare myself, I'm just like, no, energy back into myself. So I encourage everybody to let this eclipse put you in your me era. So, or in your you era, obviously, not so much the me. So anyway, this is the look. It all kind of balanced out. I really feel like the way that, I don't know, the pink and the peach and everything, like especially with the Fix Plus and the bronzer, little clear lip gloss moment. Doesn't taste like oil, smells like oil, doesn't taste like oil. Huge fan of everything that I got, y'all. I will link it all below. I thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for making a trip to Amsterdam possible for me. Thank you so much for submitting questions and stuff for me to talk about with y'all. And I love you so much. So I will put a video up here that I think that you're going to enjoy. I hope you're all having a wonderful week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.